Theater of the mind. Okay, that's the correct math. Anyway, Flandy, if you'd like to get us started.
Previously on Difficult Terrain.
Thank you.
The group Team Awkward Rescue.
Team Awkward Rescue, yeah, which somehow kind of worked out anyway. But the team is split and is still split. But at the moment, Ryland and Valafar managed to escape the chaos, certainly with some help from Kemen, but just a chaotic mess the whole time. Valafar was unconscious many times. Yes, a candle certainly kept things up and about. But with using pretty much all of your cooldowns, which you didn't have a lot left after you just had a fight on the rooftop, like hours ago, probably less than an hour ago now, or less than 2 hours ago at this point. But you guys managed to succeed. However, on the way out, when things were still a bit gray, but positive looking, at the top of the stairs waited a familiar succubus who asked if you needed some help, and before you could answer, cast haste on you, which was a bit of control for her, which meant if you didn't accept her help, then she could have dropped the spell, which would have stunned you for a whole round and would have made it very easy for your pursuers to catch you. But agreeing and starting to move, you managed to pull Valafar out, and he basically was along for the ride. He didn't really use his own 2 feet until after the fight, but with Kemen sort of teleporting, and she wasn't necessarily doing much other than keeping the haste up, you guys were able to escape the thieves' den that you guys had that Valafar had worked his way into, but you had to basically bust your way into. But having escaped successfully, you guys immediately were joined by a few guards who heard the commotion, who decided that they were going to kind of investigate the area you mentioned, as well as just kind of talk to you. They asked to get you a report from you, but since you were kind of bagged up and I need to go do some stuff, they mentioned that they will go to your home in the morning and ask you some questions there. And that you should definitely be there, because if you're not, it's going to look really bad. So there is a bit of understanding, hopefully, on that end. Move you over to the map that's just you. But if I remember correctly, you told Ryland, you're Ryland, you told Rusi to take Kambish the long way around. Although I don't remember if you were saying for them to go straight home, or if they were to stay near you at all. You'll have to remind me of that. Okay.
Safe house. Yeah, that was the go home, but don't let this bitch know that you're going home.
Right. Some goofy way that you can't be tracked, right? So they're off doing that, and I will move them to the GM layer so that they are no longer here. But yes, they're doing that, and you are currently the guards are still in front of you, because you just kind of now were doing the yes, I agree to speak with you in the morning. I won't be gone, I promise. Kind of winding down that conversation, which Kemen obviously understands nothing of. And you haven't bothered to look, but behind you, the woman is just kind of smiling coyly and just kind of waving at the guards, who are okay.
And they took off Valafar to go get healed.
Correct. Yes. Valafar was moved off to one of the stationed healers, and he is off doing that. And I realize you were not in the Valorrouter, so it's been very interesting when he has to come find you again. But until then, Ryland, the guards are still in front of you, but about to kind of investigate the area. Uh-oh.
I'm having your glitch now.
Uh-oh. You're having a what glitch?
The glitch that you were having where it keeps saying, how do you want to create this character? He's created.
Oh.
I don't want to.
Yeah, it was doing that to me.
Directly? I don't want to click
Yeah,
this.
just hit edit. If you edit directly, it should be okay. It looks fine on my end. Did you click it? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it had a little pop-up, but I was like,
yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
Redo.
But
it's still there.
No X. Yeah, there's no X for that little box, so you're just like, I have to choose one of these. Yeah, I don't know why it's been doing that for a few people or a few sheets lately. So I was like, I am not going to touch this for a little while. Just let it be for now, and that's it.
Yep.
But anyway, Ryland, you are picking up with the guards in front of you, Kemin and the other lady behind you. So you are welcome to do whatever you would like.
Yeah, and he also expressed them to be careful and to go with more than just them, because
Mm-hmm. And they explained
he's a pretty well-known paladin, and he got fucked the fuck up.
They did explain that their intention wasn't to sort of infiltrate at this moment. It was more just to investigate the location and just kind of make note of it, so that when the time is right or they have more bodies, they can do a thorough sweep of the area. But for now, it would just be okay, we made note of the entrance, we will be back.
All right, he's gonna wait for them to kind of scurry off.
Okay, yeah.
That was the other thing he did. He did the to Kim, and he's like, "You watch out for her. She's no trust."
Yes, I do remember that. And I think, didn't you roll like amazing for persuasion, or he rolled amazing for insight or something? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I rolled persuasion. You rolled, yeah.
Yep. And it was like the two of you like clicked or something. Yeah, there it is. You rolled a 21 for persuasion. He rolled a 24 for insight. So the two of you are like, no, I got you. I got you. No problem. But yeah.
Oh, he also asked my leaky to watch over someone, and I think it was the guards, but he rolled really
to watch over them. That, so. Yes, I do remember that. And you did feel her presence kind of acknowledging you, but it wasn't anything dramatic.
And not that it affects the storyline, but we did also identify the lovely face here.
Oh yes, with the eyes.
The map.
Correct.
Yep.
I do remember that now. Yes. I should probably position this to be.
Or even Vigely's face down here.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah, because you were like, "Wait, I see it." I was like, "Oh my gosh." Oh my goodness. Okay. So not too long after they kind of confirmed that you will be there in the morning, the guards shuffle off a little bit, but not too far. They seem to kind of move their way north in the direction of the alleyway, but they seem to be standing in the intersection outside of it, not in the alleyway directly, just sort of lined up with it so they can look down it. But as they're doing that, a few more start kind of gathering and closing in from various angles, and some of which you're a little surprised to see seem to be commoners, at least their dress. And for Ryland, you've certainly heard of societies having sort of like undercover cops, but that's not something that is native to you. So it is a bit of a surprise to be like, why are these regular commoners here speaking to the guards like guards? Oh, they're guards too.
It's like, oh, they should really. Oh no, we need higher. Y'all need more help than that.
Yeah, there's just a moment where they all look in your direction and then go back. And one of them's like, "It's fine. I'll talk to him in the morning." Don't worry about it. But as that's happening, the woman kind of slinks up to your side. So you have that conversation
now? He's still concentrating on detect or locate object, I think.
Yes.
Because I don't think
it never
actually swapped that.
Yeah, it never pinged your radar though.
Oh, and he has nothing that can. He really wants to cast protection from good and evil. But A, he doesn't have it prepared, and B, he doesn't have the spell slots.
You ain't got no slots yet. And you turned off the candle. She's just sort of waiting.
Is she like? Does she grab his arm or something, or is she just?
No. She's standing beside you, just sort of looking over you.
He's just gonna kind of just like that, just kind of let out a deep sigh, like, all right, lead the way, I guess. I don't imagine you want to have whatever conversation it is here.
No, definitely not. Sure.
You wouldn't happen to be responsible for my sleepwalk episode?
We will discuss things when we're in a safe place.
I don't want to necessarily insight, but I guess it is. He wants to. Can he glean that like that rang a bell for her? Or like that was like.
Go for it. Yeah. Oh shit. Let me open up her sheet too. Okay.
Insigne. Why did that? It says no.
Oh, I think it's because of your exhaustion. I think you put it on in advance, so I think I saw that on your sheet last time I looked. So don't forget.
Automatically apply. That's cool.
Yeah, so you don't have to.
Sorry.
Okay. So
that wasn't that one though. It's a good thing.
It was, yeah. I mean, we're taking the first as per usual. If ever disadvantage or advantage is rolled, we always just take the first. So you have an 18, which is good. But in looking over her, she is the definition of devious. She is not here to be honest, especially out in the open where she feels kind of uncomfortable. You're not getting anything, and you're relatively hard to lie to. But she just does not ping anything for you. You're just okay. She's playing a game, and you get that. But that's all you get.
Is it one of those like the absence of a reaction to kind of sells it, or would he even be able to glean that?
You wouldn't. Yeah, she is full in like smooth. Just for meta information, she rolled a 27.
Oh god damn.
So it's like it's not even on the radar. Like Ryland is like, I don't know. I have no idea.
But I feel like he's just gonna be more like anxious and just like, oh, okay. He's just gonna like kind of grab Kim in and hold him close, like with his arm like locking arms.
Are you like arm in arm?
Like, yeah, like.
Which like it takes a moment, but he's like, oh, okay. Just kind of like awkwardly walks with you, but doesn't fight it at all. And she kind of
like freaked out right now. He's in very much like, I have got to protect you by all means. We're going in the den. Valen's popping his head like, don't travel alone, knucklehead.
And guess what I'm doing right now?
I need some rope.
But she kind of watches as you wrap your arm around Kemen's arm, and then kind of smiles at you and is like, "Oh, well, may I?" and offers her other arm. Offers her arm through your other arm.
I feel like he's just gonna kind of be like.
And she is going to just like watch with like a weird like smile on her face, but then she's just gonna kind of take it, and you're a little surprised at the strength, but she does seem to kind of like fold your arm into what would look like a more normal looking appearance with the two of you kind of like hooking arm in arm, which is great because now it just looks like you're a happy throuple with like, Kevin on one side, Ryland in the middle, and her on the opposite end. So she starts kind of walking you, and it's kind of the way I have it here. Obviously, she's still like looped into your arm, but she's kind of pulling you in a direction, and it's not aggressive. It's just enough to lead. But as she's walking, she kind of starts speaking, especially when a little more space is bought between you and the guards. But you hear her kind of saying, well, just before we get started, I just want to be honest with you for a moment. I give you my word that I will not tell you a lie. However, I may choose to withhold some information. So I suppose you can find out whether that makes you feel better or not. But understand that I'm very much interested in making sure that I am doing very well. So when it comes down to it, I will do what's best for me. And imagine how interesting things must be if me accosting a paladin is something that will help me. I'm not here
Ryland's gonna
happily.
say,
Good.
okay. He's just gonna say, like, that is the first upfront and honest thing I think I've ever heard you say.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not even gonna insight that one. He's just gonna be like, what?
I'm doing everything I can to help me. Things are changing, and they're changing almost everywhere. So, interestingly enough, I think I saw something like this happening a little while ago, or at least coming. And I was attempting to get an audience with you and your team, but didn't quite work out. And by then, seemingly right after, things changed yet again. So I had to adjust, lay low for a little bit. But I wasn't actively trying to avoid you. I was simply where you were not. But here I am back in the city, and here you are back in the city. So maybe we can help each other. And that's what this is.
Wait, with that, can he glean that she was out of, like, she was in the desert too with them? Like, following them?
You're welcome to make another insight check.
The way that was worded, he's like,
yeah.
wait. He's like,
Absolutely.
he was about to be like, well, we weren't even in the city, so it's not like, wait a minute, what? You're back
Yeah.
back in the city?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my button? Why?
Oh,
It's all right. I turned it
it's
off.
still rolling it?
Yeah, I turned it off. Let me toggle the disadvantage again.
Huh.
Well, and it's
But
weird
it's
because it's not
rolling both
advantage nor
anyway.
disadvantage.
Right. It's not even
Yeah.
what is going on. Yo, character sheets are fucked. Okay.
Hey, for this one time, could you just swap it around and use
I
the
I'm
We
sorry,
don't know
we
which one
can't.
was first, Foos.
We do. Well, I mean, in this case, we're cheating and we do. Uh, but yeah, I don't know why it's doing that for you. Anyway, um, in looking over her and listening again, she is a well guarded fortress. She is locked down, and she just always seems like she's very aloof and that nothing is bothering her, which is a little eerie because what she's saying to you is her admitting that she's kind of in trouble and she's trying to figure things out. But in her body language and even like her smiles, as the few people who are roaming the streets at this hour are seeing the three of you walk down, it looks like you're just having a friendly conversation, minus Kevin's weird stare from across your chest at her. But like your expression is hidden by your mask, and she's just kind of smiley and holding your arm. But the other side is Kevin, who just almost looks like the jealous lover at this point on the other side of the arm. Like it's a very weird situation to try and figure out. But yeah, she's just exceedingly difficult to read, unfortunately. She didn't roll wildly high like before, but it is unfortunately higher than your roll.
Fair enough. Yeah, he's just gonna try his best to, like, he's trying to, like, not show that he's trying to figure shit out, but he is trying to figure shit out.
Right, yeah. You're just trying to lean in and I'm assuming that just from the insight checks, which is more like I just want to listen to what you're saying as opposed to like I'm gonna pry and find out. Hello, Nubs. This is a good time.
Yeah.
This is a good time, huh?
No.
Just walk across my shit.
Nope.
Hi, honey. Okay. So she continues leading you through this street, and she walks with you for about 10 or 15 minutes. In which case, you're welcome to ask anything else, of course. But this is are you getting down over there? Yeah, the music is a little banging, but it's great. You're walking through with her, and she seems to be kind of leading you towards a busier, nicer side of town. There was a part of you that was expecting to kind of go to like a seedy area where it would probably be easy to just kind of talk and whatever. But the houses over here are getting a little bit nicer, and there's plenty of sort of porch torches that are on that are lighting the way, and it's kind of weirdly nice if you didn't have a literal demon on your arm. The twinkle of the street and the kind of the coolness of the night and the clear sky with the moon This would otherwise be a nice walk, but unfortunately, stress is ruining this moment. But as you continue, she eventually leads you to a house that is one of the few that doesn't seem to have any of their lantern lights on, or even some of them seem to have candles that are lit in the windows as well. You can't see into the buildings, but you can just see that the open windows seem to have some candles that are also kind of billowing a bit with the wind. But this particular house that she leads you to is a little bit smaller than the others. It's still very nice looking, but a little bit smaller compared to the others in this environment. And she kind of pulls you up, still kind of holding onto your arm, and just knocks on the door and doesn't hear anything, but just kind of leans back at you and is, by the way, this is a bit of a secret place for me, if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it if you didn't, go telling some of my secrets around. I hope you understand.
He's gonna kind of nod, and I feel like part of the conversation on the way here, he would have been like, "Look, I don't have a problem making deals, if you will, or assisting, but your methods have been quite questionable leading up to, and that's more my issue. Not necessarily what you are. Hell, my best friend was a necromancer.
Oh, well, I think it's a little different,
more about
isn't
the
it?
how.
Like, he gets to choose what path he goes down, right?
Exactly.
Wizard, as I believe he is, he has some studies, and he gets to choose which one he wants to go down. So he decided to choose necromancy. As you mentioned, I appreciate that you don't mind me for what I am, as I can't help that. However, I seem to be working against most who look like me, or, are related in some way or another. Take that as what you may, but I'm not here to make your life miserable. My sister might have, but not me.
He's gonna kind of like, your sister.
Mm-hmm.
Have we met your sister?
You did.
Does he remember who her sister? Do I remember who her sister? Who's your sister?
Roll a history check to see if you can recall.
No.
You can do it.
Hey, I fixed it though.
Yeah, you did. How'd you fix it?
Ooh, we got 18. I just toggled everything.
That was a fucking amazing roll for you. Like, that's a +0 of 18. That's awesome.
That's why I was like, ooh.
Yeah, no, you got it. Very nice. But in rolling and checking to that history, you do recall when you first interacted with her. Oh, Mark Songs is here. Hello. But you do recall the first time you interacted with her was in the astral plane, where you were on a boat in the marketplace, right after you had met some abyssal chickens. But while you were there, she marked you with something, and that was kind of what started the scuffle in the first place. And there was a woman in white who immediately came up to you and tried to placate both you and Valen, mentioning something about her sister and that she just seems to be attracted to certain kinds of guys, and was kind of trying to play it off a little bit differently. But you guys were able to kind of see through that act, as they're clearly up to something. But you were able to ping that both of them were demons, or devils, excuse me. They were fiends, but they were both devils, that you were able to get off of the two of them before you and Ryland, or you and Valen, ran off to Steve. Kind of hung out there.
I always thought, my memory is fucked up. I thought she was the one who did the mark. I forgot that it was a different lady.
It was, you're correct. It was this particular woman who marked you. The woman in the white tried to help with the deception and kind of walked up and was like, oh, it's nothing. She didn't mean to, and blah, 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 blah. So sorry if I explained that stupid. You had it right.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I feel like things are going to kind of click into place a little bit for Ryland and be like, so he's not saying this out loud, but she's kind of like the tag team, like, let's go con somebody, and she's maybe not the innocent bystander in the account, but maybe the less so, maybe not the schemer of it.
Perhaps. You're it's honestly like mixed messages for you, because this woman in front of you was the one who marked you. And she's the one who's saying, like, I didn't have terrible plans for you, but maybe my sister did. And you're like, but you marked me. I don't understand. And you're the only one who keeps showing up. So, like, there's definitely some, like, I feel like I'm not getting the full picture here. Like, what is going on? Kind of confusion from you, but you're able to kind of remember that moment. And that apparently when they said something about a sister, you know, and unless she's lying to you, which she didn't seem to be, she does have a sister. Not here at the moment, but there did seem to be one at some point. I don't know if you wanted to say or do anything. Oh, Ryland, help me!
I feel like he's just gonna kind of be like, see how far we can get when we're open.
I mean, that is very much a last resort. She kind of just like looks you up and down and like has to crane her neck to look up at your big, tall, furball face, but still under the mask, of course, but just kind of making eye contact. I know your people, I suppose, are not used to the idea of not showing all your cards, but it is a necessity depending on where you come from. And what I'm dealing with, I absolutely must abide by those rules. Like I said, things are changing, and I'm not very happy with most of those things. So I hope that perhaps you and your friends might be able to help, might be able to give you some information, and maybe we can all help each other.
Ryland's just gonna be like, fair enough.
I thought so.
Well, I will be more open to your train of thought, if you will.
I'm happy to hear that.
Just tell me one thing. Open and honest, or you can omit.
Okay. Go.
Other than benefiting yourself, what are your goals?
I will save this for once we are in a private location. You may know of my true nature, but not everybody else does.
I feel like this is one of those, like, you're on a phone call and you're trying to like buy something, but like they keep trying to be like, yo, you want the extra added to your warranty?
Yeah.
It's like super dope. You're just like, no,
I'm just trying to cancel my shit.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. But if you come back now,
yeah,
we'll sign you and your friend up for 2 years for free. It's like enticing, but no.
I'm not sure if you recognized me when I first said no, but the answer's still no. I'm just trying to. Yeah, no, that's pretty much exactly what poor Ryland is dealing with right now. He's just trying desperately to get some answers, and it's certainly frustrating. He's never had to deal with someone who is just constantly dodging shit or pushing it off in some kind of way, and it's not something he's had to deal with. But I imagine he would be a little frustrated with it.
He's reminded a little tiny bit of Duvessa.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see that. Just certainly in the idea of like holding all your cards and not, or not showing all your cards. Excuse me, holding your cards.
She's a fiend.
Yeah, I know what she is. But as you make it to the place, she just sort of knocks at the door, and you don't hear anything, and that's when she turns to you and is, "I hope you keep this location to yourself. It will, hurt my feelings if you break my trust."
He's gonna nod, and I will guard it to the best of my abilities.
I very much appreciate that. I also think you might really like this place. Which, I mean, so long as you let me know, you're welcome to come back. But for now, let me just show you inside. And she knocks again, but this time it seems to be in a pattern. And you're watching her hand as she's knocking against it, but there are certain times where you see her knuckle make connection with the wood of the door, but you don't hear anything. So the first two were certainly some kind of pattern, and after like almost every other third or fourth knock seems to just be silence instead. And after a series of probably like 10 or so of knocks, not necessarily all of them silent, but just 10 consecutive, you've seen her knuckle make contact with the door, which only now that you're noticing that you look down, does not have a handle and simply pushes open. And she just
Can
sort of
he
stands
do his
there
best
waiting.
to study that and see if he can't
Yeah,
figure
okay.
out, or if not be able to
Sure.
explain that if he needed
Uh,
to?
yeah, you can give me maybe an int check, I suppose. If you're trying to explain it, it might be more investigation, which I don't know if there's a difference for you for int and
There's not.
investigation, but okay.
Well, there is a
But,
difference. I get a +1 to investigation because of my stone of season luck.
well, your int would also give it to you. It's just it doesn't do it automatically, remember? So you can go ahead and roll your investigation, and it can count as either.
Oh,
Yo! You're rolling so good right now. Oh my god. This is what needs to happen, right? You just need to have none of your friends around and you'll do very, very well. I'm just kidding.
oh no.
But in rolling your 17, you're able to get a pretty good bead on it. From what you were able to recognize, there was about 5 of the taps that were silent. And you surmise there was probably like 7 or 8 that made sounds. But the pattern is a little fuzzy, but you're pretty sure you got it. You're pretty sure. But afterwards, she pushes the door open and just kind of waits in the doorway and is after you.
He's just gonna like he hasn't let go of Kim yet. He's just gonna like he's gonna look over and he's like, "Shall we?"
Like he has not taken his eyes off this woman the whole time. So like even though you're looking at him and you're like, "Shall we?" You just see, okay, and he's not looking at you. He's still looking at her. Just
I feel like in his
focused on
mind
her
he's
the
going
whole
like,
time.
"Good job."
He got you loud and clear, so he is very much focusing on her. But he does seem to kind of hear what she's. I don't know if you can hear Nubs, but he's making some noise. But if you do step in, I don't want
He
to.
will, despite his better judgment.
Okay, no, it's okay. That's why I'm asking. I don't want to be like, you step in if you're like, I don't wanna. But as you do, the whole area is glowing a sort of dim blue light. And at first, it makes you feel like maybe there's some sort of magic, like arcane presence that's kind of creating this false light in this area because it's so bright in a way that you weren't really expecting. But as you kind of pitch your head up and look, you realize the whole ceiling seems to be made of glass, and all of that light that's coming in is just pure moonlight, which seems to almost be amplified in this space. And you realize this whole room is just simply glowing with moonlight. And a few steps in front of you, you hear the running water of a fountain. And looking past that, you recognize plants, many plants, lots of plants. Is this a greenhouse? And some of them you don't even recognize. There's certainly desert variety of plants, but they're not things that you've run into necessarily, for at least the larger ones that you're catching. There are some that almost look like giant Venus flytraps that are sitting open in the center of this place. There's others that kind of look large and tubular, but also kind of spiky, but long and very, very tall. They're probably like 3 or 4 feet tall, that are all kind of in the center of this area. And even the tiling seems to be sort of designed around plants as well. But it seems like a very well maintained greenhouse. But as the two of you step in, she steps in behind you and just sort of closes the door with a soft knock against the back of it, and you watch it just kind of come to a close. And this knock you were able to hear; it didn't seem to be silent at all. But as you settle in, or as you hear the door close and you see her just kind of turn to face you guys. So, what do you think about it? Do you like it?
I feel like he's actually gonna get, because he's starting to let his guard down a little bit, and just he's just accepting that he's seen met a lot of folks that seem shady but weren't, and vice versa, and
Right. I'm trying to give this
he's
bitch a shot.
yeah, basically, and seeing
Yeah.
Kevin still laser focused on the original plan, I think that's allowing him to kind of relax just a little bit, and
Yeah.
with that, he's going to kind of let himself get lost in the plants and the fauna and the flowers and moonlight. And does it strike a Yoriana's bell? Because wasn't she all about the moon?
There were many gods and goddesses that had the moon in their portfolio, which was part of the reason why. Let me move you over to your new map.
Yeah.
This is where you are now.
Ooh.
But you're welcome to roll me a religion check if there's any
You ready for the
deity
wheels to come
that
off the
this.
bus?
I'm ready.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yo, I'm telling you. You just had to get rid of all your friends, and then you were good to go.
You ever get fucking lured away by a succubus and actually did really well?
Yo, seriously, I don't think I've ever seen you roll this well on +0. The lowest
Oh my
+0
goodness.
roll you've rolled is 16. That's twice in a row. Holy shit. Okay.
Oh. All right.
Damn. I'm so impressed. So impressed. Okay. And looking around, you're not seeing a deity in particular here. It looks like this was probably a very hardworking gardener's space at some point. There doesn't even seem to. He's just walking around just yelling. There doesn't seem to be any mention of any deity anywhere. And granted, you're still in the entrance, but at the moment, it just seems like someone who was passionate about plant life. Interestingly enough, but
All
I
right.
will
So he's just gonna.
sorry, I will hold that religion roll for if anything else pops up. So that was
Okay.
his just sort of like checking the memory banks, just so you know.
He's like, he's actually gonna get lost a little bit and be like, "This is beautiful. I was trying to do a little bit of something like this," and he's just kind of looking through all of them and taking notes of the ones that like look nice that he's not familiar with, and just kind of give him a smell and it go through and yeah, he's gonna get lost in his environment because that's the thing.
That's awesome. But you're starting
making
to
Kevin smell some of them too.
exactly like, oh, you said you're taking Kevin with you.
Yeah, like, oh, smell
Oh
this.
my god! Like at this point, Kevin has like released your arm, but then grabbed on with the other arm. So while you're walking away from her, he's still facing her. He's just kind of walking backwards, still locked arms with you. But it's just kind of, it doesn't even seem to recognize the plants. You can see kind of confusion in his face, like, why are we here? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Just gonna watch her. I don't know what's happening. But as you're taking, actually, you gotta give me a nature check. Oh god, is that another +0 for you, buddy?
No, it's there's a little bit to it.
Okay, here we go.
Holy shit!
Holy shit! Okay, as you're looking through these plants and you're just kind of greeting them, making note of them, and interacting with the ones you've never seen before, there's a part of you that's like, is this fake? Like, what is this? How is it so lush and beautiful in here? And like, even the scents are just hitting your nose, and there's a strange part of it that feels like home, just in the sense that, you know how like if you're in a greenhouse, there's obviously that humidity that's there, but there's also that like scent of plant life, right? Like it's a hard scent to explain. It's not necessarily floral. It's just, you know, that life is around you and it just hits you, and you're just confident that these are natural plants, some of which you've kind of seen elsewhere, but they all seem to be rare breeds. And from what you're seeing, this almost, maybe it was a haven for desert plant life that was struggling, or maybe that it is very, very hard to find. And this was an attempt to get them to flourish, but you're not entirely sure, just because also you haven't run into too many. But the ones that kind of catch your attention are sort of the ones that seem to also be carnivorous. As mentioned, there were sort of giant like Venus flytraps with their mouths already open, and you can see that one of them is closed. And at this point, what you would expect is to see like kind of a bulge in the middle of it, as if something has been swallowed, but it's closed and it's completely flat. But that one kind of catches your attention a little bit because, like, even as you're coming in, you actually see one of the leaves kind of, or not leaves, but the open mouths lean towards you a little bit. Not enough to kind of threaten you, at least, especially Ryland being the life lover that he is between plants and animals. But it almost just seems to kind of acknowledge you in a way. And you're looking through the others, and there seem to be plants that are just kind of sitting there, but this one clearly seems to kind of acknowledge you.
He's gonna, if she hasn't interrupted, I keep wanting to call her Sidani.
It's not Sidani.
She's way worse than Sidani. He's just gonna, if she's not saying anything, he's gonna address the one that's addressed him and be like, "Why, hello there, Ryland. Pleasure to make your acquaintance."
You see the head sort of slowly bow in your direction, and then back up.
He'll kind of do a little curtsy or something as well.
A one-armed curtsy because Kevin's in the other arm. Yeah. And as she's watching this in the background, you hear, "Well, I knew you'd like it. I wasn't sure if you'd like it that much." So, just to, I suppose, get things off the table, you asked me a question that I told you I wasn't going to answer until we were safe. And here we are safe. So, I will then be honest. I'm not sure if you're aware of sort of what happens with most devils and those who are of Inferno bloodline. But we are very much bound by our word and who perhaps we serve, perhaps some demon lords, not as often as those tend to be of the abyssal variety, but we take our home in the Hells. And the Hells have their rulers. However, it seems as though certain rulers, and it seems certain gods as well, are starting to get picked off in strange ways. I believe you were involved in some Malar, some time ago, if I heard correctly. And on top of that, some of the demon lords have started getting demolished, and some of those who call their home the Hells have also started to disappear. So, it's part of the reason why I believe Talona has been besieged by so many so recently. There is a power vacuum, and people are going to try to scoop that up. And when most of the known, let's say, powerful entities are perhaps concerned about a target on their head, the ones who are less interested in worshippers are being sought after. And Talona is certainly one of them. I admit there was a time where I was attempting to get her attention as well, but that ship has sailed, it seems. So she is no longer an option for me. Me and my options, by the way, I am attempting to have full autonomy. I am trying not to be bound by any lord or deity or anything. I'm simply trying to be me and to enjoy my time and to do whatever the fuck I want. Kind of hard to do that, however, when all of this shit is going down at the same time. And with very few allies, that means I have to look over my back very often. So it's a little exhausting, but I'm trying to work my way through it. And that's where you and your friends come in. I am hoping that perhaps I can give you some information, and perhaps you can start helping me handle some of these problems. Because I'm still not sure if all of these things are connected. I imagine they have to be. But Demon Lord dying is very different than a deity dying. So, I'm not sure.
Ryan's like, he's doing the math calculation lady, and he's just like,
oh yeah, the lady who's just it's just equations on her head.
It's like, I mean, this is making sense. He's not saying this part out. This is his thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. But can she be trusted? I don't know. That's because I assume he knows jack shit about how demons and lords and pacts and all that shit work as far as that's concerned. Like
You can
he
give
may have.
me. Sorry, good.
I feel like even if he had like classes on it, growing up, that's probably one of those classes where he kind of checked out in. So like,
Okay, yeah. I could
she's
see
like,
that.
well, that is quite interesting indeed.
Hmm.
Was your sister joining you in this quest, or?
Oh, no, she's very dead. So that ship has also sailed.
I feel like he's torn right now between saying sorry for your loss and like you woohoo.
Fuck you.
he's gonna kind of question like sorry for your loss.
Thank you. She seems like a little taken aback by that. Like it's one of the first genuine responses you've seen from her, whereas there's always like guarded expression up, but that one is like, oh, yeah, you paladins probably say that to everyone, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
He's just gonna kind of like, it's like, well, I'm not your. Anyways,
No, I'm aware.
so his eyebrows kind of raised. He's like,
Your
all right,
face. You have Tolona marks all over them. Mm-hmm. Right?
yes, and one of them's actually been manipulated. And hold on.
Give me a second.
Okay. I just set a DC in my head.
Okay.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, he's gonna show her his face.
Okay, gotcha. Pulls it
up.
up. And
one of them's been manipulated.
You see her kind of leaning in and that's not good. Okay. So, I don't know everything. Again, I am a one devil woman trying to make her way through. So, what information I get is simply through my wiles or overhearing things, whatever it might be. I don't know everything. I do know that you were lured out of your sleep, something like that. Whoever put that on your face, I wasn't there. I simply overheard the conversation that had happened. People saw you walking through the streets, confusingly. And someone watched you meet with someone who you took your helmet off for, and I think they saw some glowy magic, perhaps, and then you walked away. But simply rumors going about the tall preventer one perhaps having a shady meeting with someone.
Are there any details on the description?
I wasn't able to get that. I was barely able to get that story out of him, and he was very drunk. I nearly got puked on for that one.
He's gonna genuinely thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I understood that there was some sort of underlying influence that could be called upon, if you will.
It seems to be.
That explains a little bit. Well, I do have more questions, but I'd hate to be selfish. So, what is it that you need from us? How can we help you achieve your goals? And I guess equally important, how do I know that whatever the hell you want, and he's just kind of wording it the way that she worded it, isn't going to be bad, per se?
Well, you've seen me do what I do best. I've never hurt anyone in front of you, have I?
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't. but I'm on my best behavior almost all the time.
he's, he'll chuckle at that just a little bit. Like just one of those like, oh no, all right, okay, all right.
I mean, look, if someone greatly offends me or threatens my life, I will do my best to protect myself or kill someone who perhaps is getting in my way. But I promise you, those who are getting in my way are not devout, justice filled folk such as yourself. So at least you can keep that in mind.
He's gonna kind of like look around, look at some of the plants, and okay.
Great.
So what could we do for you?
I would love it if you could investigate a place in the desert for me. You ventured off into the sands many times, and I have as well. The heat doesn't bother me too much, but I know it bothers you and your friends a little bit more. But either way, I think it's about a 2 or 3 day journey out in the sands if you head towards the southwest direction.
As she's talking,
Beyond...
he's just gonna slowly pull out his map. He has the big one.
Yeah, you do.
Deadpan while she's talking. He's just gonna start unraveling it and eventually like set it down. So.
Okay. You see her like staring at it for a while. I think you're missing some landmarks. I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm a devil. I did not go to cartography school. I'm not sure where it is in relation to these things. They're just like looking down at the map. Here? No, here. Wait.
Okay, he'll turn it back around. And be like, one more time the instructions.
2 or 3 days in the southwest direction.
He's gonna draw a little arrow southwest, and then on the arrow he's gonna be like 2 to 3 days ?
Now, this area, as I'm sure you have been hearing from all the locals and everything that's been going on, is fertile in strange, spiritual, and it seems arcane magic. There seems to be things here that not everyone can understand or explain, I suppose. But either way, there's also a history here, and I'm trying to uncover it. And I think a good part of it might be able to help me with what I would like to do. You see, part of it is that there seem to be demonic... I don't want to scare you. I believe there are dead demonic bodies that are still out there that are about the size of buildings, but certainly dead. I am not trying to send you in to go get killed by some animated demon thing. But
he's gonna
as enormous...
pull out his was it the Mace of Disruption, and he's just gonna kind of hold that for a second and kind of give it a good like. He's like, well, I'm looking for an excuse to try this out.
And as you pull it out, you visibly watch her kind of like grimace and wince a little bit, but she kind of, just for a moment, has that and then resumes her facade of that like kind of confident person.
Seeing that, he'll kind of be like, he'll sheath it back, put it back in his...
if you don't mind. I mean, it's not... It just doesn't look very comfortable. And you are what you are, so, and I am what I am. We shouldn't be in the same room, but here we are. So, I, as I suppose, token of good faith, can offer you at least a title to call me by. It is not my real name, and I'm sure you understand. Our real names have power. So, I will not give you that.
Yep.
As... To be quite honest, I believe I could trust you, but I'm not sure I could trust all your friends. The blue one seems nice, but...
He's going to be like, yeah, Vela's going to take a while to convince that this is not horrible.
Yes, and that's what I expect. But that is how it goes, I suppose. But I will say, the time that I had come across this, and as I was trying to get some more information, I happened to run into. I believe I saw you heading in his direction a few days ago, or a few hours ago. Excuse me. But I believe I saw you heading in the direction of a certain archer on a rooftop, perhaps.
His eyes are gonna go wide at that, and she's like,
Sorry.
she's gonna be like,
Sarah's here. Hello. Hmm. Yes. So last time I went to this location, it turns out that he was there. And despite what you may think of me, I am perhaps not the most adept combatant. I attempt to win my fights by way of persuasion or perhaps working and manipulating things. And he seems immune to everything I tried. Not only that, but he hurts quite a bit. So the last time I was there, he was there, and I think he knew I was coming. So it wasn't much fun for me. But assuming that you ran into him not too long ago, and here you stand, not dead, and you have a lot more friends than I do, which admittedly I have about as many as I have fingers on this hand, you might have a better time with it. If he's there. I'm still not entirely sure why he was.
he's gonna kind of pull on that string a little bit and be like, you know, we haven't figured him out yet either, and unfortunately, we did not have the whole crew there, as you will. I believe we're here purely because he wanted it to be. He's just gonna kind of like lay that out there for her.
Okay. I would believe that. I'm not sure if it has something to do. I think he's musical with everybody. I'm pretty sure it's his thing.
I'm laughing. Ryland's just like,
okay. Ryland's not laughing, but I'm laughing my ass off. But you see her just kind of look over you, and he manipulates sound as well. I've noticed. It was difficult for me to do some things in front of him, and he's very fast. So it was just a problem overall. I don't think I was equipped to handle him one-on-one. I think perhaps if I have the jump on him, or perhaps if I find out how exactly he is capable of resisting such things effortlessly, then maybe I'll have a better time. But again, I am not sure how. I felt like he knew I was going there. When I was there, he was waiting for me.
He's just gonna point to the VV on it. Is like, I'm sure that has something to do with it.
I suppose. I tend to hide as often as I can, but I'm not sure. It was unusual and rather uncomfortable, but I believe he is there because he is trying to make sure that no one else can find the information that is locked away there.
You're just gonna kind of look down and do like a little studying look and be like, well, we can go there, but we'll need some help. Specifically with how to counter him. I know my team is going to be working on it, but sound. It's something with sound, and it's more than just our sound. I tried getting him off beat, if you will, a number of times to no avail.
I'm not sure you're capable, not to doubt your distraction abilities, but he does seem to be dominating in this auditory field, we'll say. But I did my best to watch him a few times. I had, interestingly enough, coming from me, a straight devil, as you know I am, I watched in horror as the music he played It seemed to vibrate the air around us, and not just in the way that it simply made sound. I watched a man die in front of him simply because of the music he was playing. And not everyone else died. There were others in that area. However, he seemingly murdered this man in front of everyone else through song, perhaps? I wasn't able to investigate the body, but the man clutched at his heart like something exploded and collapsed on the floor. And at that point, this was shortly after I found him. Unfortunately, he found me in the desert. I fucked off immediately.
Probably a good call.
Yes, I believe so. I am trying desperately not to get caught by him again. I'm fairly certain he let me go because I wasn't all that interesting, but I did have to do everything I could to get out.
Hmm. Are you familiar with Budai?
Buddha. Oh, yes. That's not his real name, but yes.
Is gonna yes. There's some apostrophes in there or something.
Yeah, it's a. He looks towards Kemen. A Gith Yankee name, I'm sure you're aware.
I think I don't remember it. I know Valen has it written down somewhere. Do, do you know his deal?
What does that mean? What he wants?
Sure.
Um,
For
not entirely.
example, we're in a safe space, sharing information. Are you aware that his daughter is not only Githyanki, but he knows this, right? He knows she was Asmar.
Yes, you do know.
Yeah. So he's like, but also he's gonna look very confused on his face. Part Asimar?
And she immediately mirrors your face of just utter confusion. Gif, Gif Yankee and Asimar.
Ryland's having a field day right now, seeing her actually like break and be like open and
Right. Same body. One person, right? I have
yeah.
never heard of that. No, I have never heard of that. I was hoping maybe I have, but no, I have not. And that is very strange. I will also say I don't give a flying fuck about Budai. So I have also not been paying attention to him at all. But that is very interesting and very weird. And I'm not sure what to do with this information, but I suppose thank you for sharing.
He's gonna stifle a chuckle. Like, yeah, well, yeah, fair. All right, so you need
And
to go to this. Oop.
what? Why are you interested in him anyway? Him anyway?
He just he's gonna kind of chuckle a little bit and be like, well, similar to our first interaction, we tried to help him. He wronged us and has been a thorn in our side ever since.
Oh, okay. I mean, he hangs out with the other one, so I imagine they are both upstanding citizens. And I get how weird that is coming from an actual devil, but it is still an opinion, I suppose. Uh, they both seem like just fantastic people that I'd hope to never run into again, or if I do, that I can hopefully immolate them successfully.
With the like, I get that coming from a devil portion. Ryland's gonna be like, well, not all good people are good. Not all normal people are good, I guess I should say, more specifically. I'm
That's
sure not
correct.
all devils are bad.
Oh, well, it depends on your definition of bad, perhaps. As I have told you before, if it comes down between anyone else and me, I will save my own skin time and time again. So, this is also an open understanding so that you don't expect me to break my back trying to save you. This is an equal sharing of information and perhaps an attempt to help each other out.
He's gonna an understandable reaction. And amicable, amicable,
Amicable?
amicable
Words are
in
hard.
some ways.
It's okay.
As long as, and that rightfully so, as long as it doesn't place my friends in danger, then no quarrel
Well, like
shall
I
be had
said,
of it.
I'm trying not to, but if he is there, then you will know you have to handle him.
Well, that's upfront danger, I guess. That's fair. I mean, as long as you don't, turn one of my friends in or something like that.
No.
Make a deal to trade off one of them or something.
The problem is, I think you're working against everybody that I am attempting to work against. So even if I wanted to work against you, it doesn't really make sense for me in the long run. I don't necessarily like any of you, but I mean, besides the blue one, she seems wonderful. Her hair is amazing.
She's still mad that
But
you charmed her, by the way. She, if out of all of us, probably would have talked to you on her own.
I couldn't take that chance. Again, you outnumber me in many, many ways. You have far more friends than I do, and it will probably stay that way for a very long time. So I will do my best to make sure the odds are in my favor if I'm going to have a conversation, such as this. I actually didn't mean to run into you, but I did. And then, lucky for me, you split up. So I was able to finally have a situation in which I could have a conversation. And here we are.
Can he discern where she ran into them at then? Because it was before we split up.
um, I think you would only get that like she probably found you perhaps when you reunited. She knew that the whole group was together at some point and that you split again. So like you probably wouldn't be able to put together exactly when that happened, but she did.
Okay.
And you are
So,
aware that she has an endless amount of forms that she can take, and she purposefully chose this one because you recognize it as her. But otherwise, could have been anyone. And it's like not to be like one of those like movies where it's like it could be anyone, but also like I do describe people walking past you. So Ryland is like walking past commoners and such, and obviously you're not hitting your thing every second, of course, because exactly. So like for Ryland, there's just a moment where it's like, who could it have been? Or like was she even visible?
Was it the lady?
Maybe she wasn't.
Was it the man?
Right, exactly. And like maybe she wasn't even one of the ones walking next to me, like maybe she was on a rooftop. I fucking don't know. And that's part of the danger of like, oh geez, she could be anywhere. This is annoying.
He's just gonna kind of, well, for Valifar's sake, I'm glad you did find us when you did. As you're aware, made a very dangerous situation less dangerous.
I didn't intend on helping, but you managed to. I certainly expected, that one to die, but thankfully he's not dead. So there's that. But it was only when things started turning around and I could see you outside that I was able to get in there and help. As I mentioned, I'm not attempting to risk my life just to further your goals, but it was a good time to do so. But anyway, I can follow you out into the desert if you do make it to that location. I can at least be nearby to perhaps help. Perhaps.
He's going to kind of like, not noble, but like, all right, stepping out of your comfort zone. Like that's what he's thinking in his head. But he's just like, honestly, if he can find a way to disrupt that, I don't even know if he knows what a metronome is.
No, I don't think he would.
You'd find a way to disrupt that musical talent of his, I guess. That would be more than enough help. Granted, I know that's a tall order, but
yes, I haven't been able to find any information on him, but I also haven't been looking too hard. He showed up, I ran away with my tail between my legs, and I haven't been able to quite. do what I'd like.
Didn't we find books in the library that had the VV magically written on it or something like that, or was it just some of them were magic?
I believe you heard from the page sage that there were some books, and then you were able to. I don't know if did you take one out? I don't remember. I know you went to the
I
library to
can't
go
remember if we
investigate.
did. I know we found one for sure.
Yeah, but I don't
I
know
just
if you
don't remember
took it
what we
out.
did with it because
Mhm.
that's why she wasn't accepting orders from or new books
Yes.
from that one people because they were like, yes, but you must take this as well. And she was
Take
like,
these
what?
free
No.
books. Yeah, and she was like, nah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I just can't remember if it had the V. I feel like it did have the VV, but I don't remember if that's correct or not. Or if that's
I know
just
you did
overlap.
find one with some, but I don't know if you took it out. We'll have to backtrack and check it out later on.
Yeah. He'll just kind of reference that to her and be like, well, be careful how hard you look, obviously. There
Right.
is some ominous power at hand here, as you've so first-handedly experienced, as well as we have. In
Yes,
fact,
go ahead.
but yes, in the library there are some books that have magic on them. Being delivered for free, I believe, is how the nuts and bolts of it went down. Maybe that could be a good start for you.
I can certainly give it a look, but I do know the VV, whatever that is an attempt to also make use of this power vacuum. It seems as though wherever someone is trying to find a new, perhaps a deity or a demonic force to follow, VV shows up more times than not. So, whatever it is, I believe it is amassing many followers, perhaps unwilling for some, but I am trying my hardest not to be one of them.
Don't get touched by the Buddha's sword.
I make it a habit of not being touched by any swords.
With that too, all I understand about it is whatever VV stands for, saying such what the actual name is evokes some sort of power that isn't to be evoked, if you will.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. There's a part of me that feels like it's probably bullshit, but I'm not willing to give that a try. So, again, just trying to make sure that I'm doing all right. And if someone tells me not to say a word, I probably will try not to say that word or words. But I actually don't know what it still means. I have simply run into it a few times.
I've run into it more times than I care.
I believe that.
Uh,
I will also mention one of the times I was nearing that location, I came across someone who seemed very disoriented and perhaps not from this plane, I suppose. Wasn't much for conversation, but very pale, very tall, big wings. Thought it was perhaps one of my kin, but not at all, actually. Not sure what he was. Uh, but he was in the area as well, looking for something, I'm not sure. But did not want to have anything to do with me. Um, but he was looking for something in that area. So I suppose I warn you, there might be a strange man with large wings in that area.
and the description doesn't ring a bell to him?
Uh, not of anything you've encountered? No.
Okay.
Or not like, that's Dave. Nothing like that.
Pale, tall, with big wings. Okay. We've run into quite a few things in the desert. That there have been some things summoned here by something. A lot of this power vacuum, I think, is ending up here for some reason. Not sure why.
There's something here. We're just, unfortunately, I'm not sure if it will answer all my questions, but I have a feeling that that site will hold at least some answers. And perhaps that's part of the
You
reason
don't
why
think it's
he
the
is.
Tarrasque, do you?
Oh, I hope not. I
he's
don't
just gonna,
know
he's gonna kind of
where to.
chuckle at that because like Raylan's obviously been fakely, not fakely, but like
Terrified.
that
Yeah.
of it, and he's just that in a sense like he finally got a joke over on someone.
Yeah. You see, you're like, I hope not, because if it is, we're all dead. I mean, maybe
Um,
no, I'd be dead too. Anyway.
I have a few more questions for you. First
All
off,
right. All right.
this place is amazing. Is this yours? Did you come across it? Like,
I was a friend of ours, admittedly a friend of my sister's. I believe he was a follower of some god of nature of something and had some plight in keeping all of these alive. I'm not sure how he did it, but it seems as though they don't seem capable of dying for some reason. I have been probably the only person to really inhabit this location. After, unfortunately, our friend and my sister have perished, I am the only one who comes here anymore. And I haven't done anything for these plants. No water, no nothing, and yet here they are.
I would love to investigate some more. This is
While I'm here, you're welcome.
amazing.
Mm.
Second off, so you're no longer hunting down, or not hunting the, what's the word? And I feel like that's exactly how we're saying it.
Just stumbling through this.
Trying to win over Talona.
No, I am not.
Good. Well, as we're all aware that you're aware, then I'm aware that you're aware, and you're aware that I'm aware that you're aware. Um, there are four beings in the way of me removing this ailment.
Mm-hmm.
One of which I've taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
An old hag near my homelands. He's kind of like, shit, I probably shouldn't have said that, as he's holding on to that S a little longer than normal.
Like
Not yeah, not too long, but like okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there is one, and I think at this point he might be putting the dots together. There's a winged one fiend that's supposedly in this area. This
I'm very sorry to tell you, but that does not narrow it down. There's a lot of us in this
that
area.
seems he's like, us? Do you have wings? He's like to himself, he's not saying
I.
that obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's plenty of
But
us in this area.
do you have any idea of who might be the target, I guess?
I know it's hard to believe, but not all fiends speak with other fiends. We're not all friends, so I am aware of others that are in this area, but I
Well, that's why I
could
said
be
idea.
I could be one of many. I'm not sure.
Okay. I'm sure I'll know it when I see it.
Hmm. I
He's
also know
just
that
gonna
you
kind
have
of let a
many. Sorry, good.
they're good mini.
I also know that you have many things on your plate, you and your friends. So if you do go to that location, when you do, I suppose, I can use some of my time to perhaps look into that for you.
You're just gonna kind of give like one of those respectable nods, like, all right, fam.
I see you.
Um. Wow, I feel like I should have more questions.
Well, I was supposed to give you perhaps a name that you can call me because you don't have any of that for me. So this
Just kind of like think of something like, no, 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 no.
this persona that you frequently see me in is named Lehiri, so you may call me that. I'm gonna let you try and spell that correctly,
Yep.
as is our game of
One
here's a weird name,
more pronunciation.
Lehiri. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is for all the beans. Nobody else is here to help you. All right, that's not a terrible way to try and do it, but it's very simple.
All right, not far off. Not far off. All right.
Go.
Lehiri.
Mm-hmm.
IRI. Fake. Nice. Lady.
Fake name is Lehiri. I genuinely feel like Ryland is saying that out loud while like writing it down in front of her. It's like fake name. Lehiri.
Like, all right. Should we need to? He's gonna like kind of coyly like, do we need to call for you? Are you always watching? You know.
It depends. For the most part, if you leave the city, I am pretty well aware of that. Within the city, I would have to take my time to come find you and find out wherever you are. But I'm not sure if there's anything you can do to really find me, as I don't really have a call to go by, I suppose. But I can find you probably every other day or so. You can check in that way.
Okay. Do you know where we live currently? He's just curious now.
I do.
Was that it? I'm sorry.
Okay. She went, Thank you.
He doesn't know how to feel about that.
Would you like some
grapes? Oh, very nice, very nice.
Yeah, Dovis just walks by and gives me some grapes. It doesn't say any words. But sorry, what were you were saying? Thank you.
I feel like there was something else someone was looking for that. Oh, that's right. If you're about and you happen to see some colored gems, he's gonna do his best to describe like the red one of Asgana. Like, there's a few of them that went missing. Not only were things happening here, and in the Hells, but also in the Fae, it seems. If I recall correctly, some similar things, and it seems the Hells have bled into the Fae.
Yes, I think that's also part of the problem we're having with that power vacuum and someone filling in that gap. I have not heard a whole lot about the Fae situation that's going on. But that is a bit alarming, I will say. I will also let you know that I have not been involved to any Fae raid of any kind. So, can't say I'm aware of what exactly is happening there. No, that's never been a thing. Huh. That's perhaps something else I can look into.
Fair enough. Well, I'd love to have a look around before I head out. If you can think of anything else you want to ask, and likewise, I'm sure we can have a more, what's the word? Symbiotic relationship?
That's not the word I would expect from a paladin, but sure. We can have a symbiotic relationship if that's what you prefer. I am doing my best to stay out of your way. So just know that anything that I'm doing is not purposefully to get in your way. And if I happen to get in your way, no hard feelings, on my side at least. I'm not attempting to bother you. As mentioned, we seem to have the same enemies, and I'm attempting to keep it that way.
He's going to kind of nod and be like, respectable. And if she'll let him, as they're kind of talking, he'll kind of peruse through here and see if he can't figure it, because now that she's referenced that there was a deity involved. He wants to try and figure out who it is.
Yep.
Who's
Okay.
going to be this nature domain lady or person or man?
Right. Who is this man?
Obviously,
Obviously, you're
there's
welcome
stairs
to.
on this too. That's so cool.
Yep.
I didn't notice that.
There's the second floor. But it does seem kind of small. It only goes over the center section. Like you can see that how it kind of protrudes on the sides. It's just that sort of area that is has a second layer. But it all just seems to be caked in moonlight. And everything here is simply lit by the light of the moon. But
He's
besides
gonna
the
try,
sort
he's
of
like, do you mind if I take a few samples?
no,
Does it
go for
does
it.
it die if I take it out?
I have no idea. I haven't touched any of these plants. I'm not sure if I've
and
made
he's
it
gonna
clear. And I mean, absolutely no offense to you, but this is one of the many things I don't really give a flying fuck about. The interesting thing about this area is, along with the whatever enchantment they used on these plants to make sure that they don't die, they also make it so that it's hard for people to spy on us while we're here. The scrying eyes don't seem to work very well, or any kind of eavesdropping of some kind. So that's why I'm interested in this place. And because the owner and my sister, who was friends with the owner, both died, it's now mine. And these plants don't die. So that's a perk, I guess.
Fair enough. He's gonna eye the one that kind of nodded to him earlier, and he's gonna be like, "We'll come back to you." In his head, as he kind of goes around and enjoys and
Takes a look around.
takes a couple samples of things that he thinks will sprucing up the house and his room that he's making.
Okay, you can go ahead and make me a survival or a nature check for your collection of some of these samples.
Oh no, we did so long without rolling.
We did, but you will eventually.
Ooh.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry,
Yep.
I misread a reference there, and I'm cracking up about that now. And now I have Moon Dance by Van Morrison stuck in my head. So these are new plants for you. You're very much the forest guy. You grew up in a forest with your Furbolg family. You know how to harvest and collect those plants. These are a little different. Succulents, of course, you've run into. But some of these, especially sort of the carnivorous ones, you're not sure where to begin. You're like, I don't know if I could root this, really, because it's like kind of alive and it has a digestive system of some kind. So you're like just kind of struggling, and a few times you go to make an incision and you're just like, no, this is wrong. I know this is, because for Ryland, I can see him bailing before he possibly hurts the plant.
Yeah.
And like
I feel like he'd ask too, like, can I, if I trim here, was that going to be good for you? Is that going to be bad for you?
Right. Go ahead and make a let's say persuasion check and see if they can
Persuasion?
React to you. Yeah, you're good at persuasion. You got this.
We're good at persuasion. We're real good at persuasion. All right, we're good. We're good.
Nice. Here we go. We're back in it, baby.
Yes, sir.
But as you're about to slice into some of them, and you just kind of ask them, like, is it okay? You get like a little shimmy shake from some of the leaves, and it like just kind of gently recoils from you. And like there's something that's like not creepy, but it's just kind of weird, like almost like you have a really bad handshake with someone and you just try and like I don't like it anymore. Like you feel the plant kind of like pull away from you, like, don't do it, I don't want it. So strangely enough, they do seem to react to you. It just seems like it's probably not comfortable being harvested. But I will say that you are able to harvest one in particular. And I'm not sure if you can see them, but they seem to be kind of like these tubular flowers that are kind of purple. I will point to them. Sorry, hold on.
These ones up here.
These guys right here. Not the big boys. No, not the big boys. This over here.
Oh, down here. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're just sort of like in a tube shape with sort of flowers that come stretching out from the top. But you're able to kind of harvest some of those pretty successfully. And by the way, all the while you're doing this, Kemin, your Githyanki companion, is just kind of like poking at some of the flowers every now and then, and just like clearly like, I don't get it. Why are we here? are these special flowers? They just look like flowers. And at one point when you're harvesting and you kind of like detach from him, you turn around and just see him with his like whole face in a giant blossom, just trying to like sniff the scent. And like by the time he kind of looks back up, he's good Yankee, so his skin is kind of like yellowish green. But that's like he comes back up and there's just like a clear yellow spot on his nose from the pollen of the flower. He just looks back at you and just okay. Just kind of points at the flower and is okay. Good, okay.
Yeah, it's very good. And she's gonna kind of like and kind of wipe off the pollen there, and then like imitate a sneezing.
Like, he doesn't even seem to sneeze or react to it at all. But like as you're wiping it away, just from his proximity to like shoving his whole face pretty much in this like giant blossom, you can smell the scent off of him, which was from that flower. And it is just like the most pretty, light, airy, floral scent that you kind of weren't expecting. And it's a little sweet as well. And you watch this Githyanki Yankee man nearly slaughter people in a hallway, just like hype with a great sword. And now he just smells like a flower and seems pretty happy about it.
Okay. And,
okay.
He'll continue his search to figure out to best of his ability of what he can figure out, how this is being maintained, maybe who's behind it, who's the deity involved, Yeah.
Okay. I will hold on. It's fucking autocorrect. How dare you? Not floral February. Floral Febreze. But anyway.
Floral February.
I am going to keep your religion check, but go ahead and give me a investigation check, if you don't mind, as you're sort of looking around. Oh my god! How are you rolling so well right now? I'm so impressed with you. Okay.
We had a dip, but we back.
Yeah, you're good. You got this. But as you're looking around, it takes you a little while, but it's on some of the kind of the bottoms of some of these planters, as well as kind of like underneath some of them. And you're only able to notice because it looks like some of them might have been shifted away. But pretty much all of the planters that are separate from, like the big planter in the center of the wall or center of the room, excuse me, all seem to have decorations on the floor. Like the tiles were designed to have like little circular sections where the planter is supposed to go on. And one of them was kind of moved off to the side. And you can see the symbol of an oak leaf and an acorn. Now, with your religion check, you recognize that this is one of the gods of nature. But however, even though you rolled a 17, it is unfortunately not high enough to recognize what it is. You are able to recognize that it is a god of nature, however. And I would say you're also able to kind of like remember the shape, like what it is. And if you want, of course, you can kind of like commit it to your journal if you wanted. Yeah. But you're unable to identify the specific name.
Okay. So copies symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Unaware of name. All right.
Yes.
He's not good at magic.
I mean, he's a paladin. He can cast spells. It's not like the worst,
Does it feel like it might have ties to like, how he can do his plant growth at all? Or maybe like something similar, plant growth on steroids?
Oh, like the enchantment?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be Arcana.
Yeah, that's why I did it. It's really hard. Nope, yeah, I get it. I understand.
That's Arcana. You got this.
I just had to link it in some way. Arcana.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. Something about it does feel familiar. You're not able to kind of pinpoint exactly what it is. And like you, considering that you cast it very many times at this point, especially pretty recently in your own home, there is something that does remind you about plant growth, but you can't exactly pick up what it is, especially because you know that plant growth, the spell, could easily cover this whole greenhouse, even though it's absolutely enormous. You're pretty positive that it could. But the other thing about that would be it would probably overtake this whole room if it was just plant growth. They would start sort of like spilling onto the floor and crawling up the walls, and they don't. They seem very pleasantly maintained, like beautifully abundant, but not perhaps overcrowded or spilling out onto the environment around it. Your pally tingle goes off.
Magic.
Oh no. Oh no. This is once again where it's like, I need the wizard, come back, Valen. Plant pally.
I'll even settle for a sorceress.
Someone who knows magic, help me.
For the love of God, not a warlock.
There's none in this team, so you're good to go. Not a single warlock to be found.
Is there anything upstairs?
Yeah, there is. You're welcome to.
Yeah, he'll kind of
your
go up
way
there, and he'll
up
keep
there.
making like small talk with Lehiri,
Lehiri lady. I'll try and spell it phonetically for you. There you go. Lehiri. Which I realized I probably could have spelled here differently.
I got it. I did Heeree. Lehiri.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I could have spelled that different, but you get it.
It's all good. I actually do that when I have issues. Is I'll put a little how to say it thing.
That's great.
Find it back here somewhere for one
Good
of them.
job. No, I write it down purposefully, and then I'm just like, I don't know how to pronounce this sometimes when I go back to it. But you go to the second floor with kind of Kemen in tow, who's still just kind of poking and prodding every so often. He doesn't seem like interested in them, but he's just kind of like, I'm bored, and we've put space between the danger and us, so I'm just gonna touch some things. What is this? touch. And there's a few times where like Ryland is probably gonna catch him, but like just out of curiosity, he might try and like fold a leaf just to see like how it bends or breaks or something. But like in seeing how careful you're being with it, you'll see him kind of like, sorry about that. Shouldn't have done that. Like walk away and be like, oh no. But as you get to the top floor, whereas the bottom floor seemed to, of course, have like big leafy greens as well, but it seemed to mostly have flowers, and everything seemed to be in bloom, which is also, being a plant man yourself, a plant pally, as you called yourself, you recognize that, like things tend to bloom for a certain amount of time, and then obviously they close up, they die out, the petals go away. All of them were in bloom, and it seems strange that every single one of them showed no signs of falling away or wilting or losing their petals. But the second floor seems to have no petals at all. It just seems to be giant leafy greens. And when I say giant, I mean some of the leaves that you're walking up to are wider than Ryland's shoulders. Like it is like massive, like almost like, dinosaur park, Jurassic sized leaves that you were just not even expecting. And again, they all seem flawless. There's no sign of like overwatering or yellowing towards the ends of the leaves, or even signs of like healthy shedding where something dies off and it just simply drops that and starts growing a new one instead. They all just seem to be peak health condition.
This place is weird. It's amazing.
I love and hate this at the same time. And while the two of you are up there, every now and then you look down and you realize even the ground is made of glass on the second floor, and that's part of the reason that the sun and moonlight seems to go through even this layer and still reach the bottom layer as well. And a part of you is also like, oh man, this is a greenhouse in the desert. During the day, this must just be a sauna. Like it must be 150 degrees in here. And a part of you is relieved that you're here at like 2 a.m. when it is much cooler. And obviously the moonlight is your light and guide in this area. But you also recognize that there are no torches in this greenhouse at all, because the light of the moon always seems to be potent enough to light it up.
He's just gonna kind of poke his head over sometimes and be like, thank you for sharing this with me. It's really an amazing place.
I had a feeling
Um,
you'd really like it, and I feel like you like it too much.
he's gonna kind of poke his head back over, like, I promise I won't come unless you invite me, but I
Okay.
really do like it. And he's gonna
I
look around.
yeah. And like you look back over, which is great because you still see her looking up at you through the glass. It's just like your focus is on something else, so you see her just like, okay, sure. Honestly, this is just a bit of a safe haven for me, which is wonderful, right? Yeah, this looks like the right place to find a devil, right?
You say you can't change, but you can always change your roots. You just need a better
I know
soil.
it's hard to believe, but I'm not a plant. uh, I don't have roots. I have hooves, not in this form, but in my true form. So I will continue to be me. It's perhaps a little different than what you're expecting, but still me.
You should always be you, but we can always make ourselves better.
Don't go all mushy on me. It's fine. We're business partners, symbiotic relationship. That we're dealing with that. Like you've seen her break character a few times, and here you could just like feel the discomfort of like, let's be friends. And she's just like, no, let's just
Ryland's like,
keep working together.
I'm gonna make you good yet. Like like it's like by the end of this relationship, you're gonna be amazing.
You see her just like like staring at you through the glass. She's like, ah. I regret to inform you that this will probably go nowhere, but you are welcome to try, I suppose. Um, but as I was saying, you investigate that for me when you get a chance. I understand what's going on with you and all these other things, and you have a child now, apparently. But that aside, you do that, and perhaps I will look into your base situation, or the ones you're concerned about.
Fair enough. Perhaps I shouldn't judge too harshly. He's kind of self-reflecting there as he's
Did you say that
looking
out loud?
around. Yeah.
Okay. She's just gonna kind of like look up at you through the glass. Hmm. Somehow, believe it or not, I'm more uncomfortable with that statement than you are. There's a lot of filthy things around here. Just keep your guard up. Or at least keep your friends with you. And one who understands all of the languages. And she kind of like motions towards Kevin, who's once again like just putting his nose in a it's not even a blossom this time. It's not a flower, it's a
Oh.
leaf. And he's just stuck his face in the leaf and is sniffing. And you see her looking over, and then I'm not sure because these things don't quite affect me the way they might affect you. Some of these might be like hallucinogenic or something, so maybe keep his nostrils away from
Oh
all of the
shit!
plants.
At that point, he's gonna put on his doctor hat and be like, doctor." He's gonna like be coming back around and be like, "Are you? How many fingers have I held up?"
And he like just sees you doing 3 and is like 3.
It's like, all right.
Doesn't seem to
He's
get.
just gonna like, no more sniff flowers. Bah.
Okay. Like looks a little upset, but is like, all right, that's literally the only thing I could do here was stick my face in things, and now you took that away from me. But
He's gonna make his way back downstairs to the carnivorous plant that strangely greeted him.
okay, yeah.
Because I feel like that's one of the first times a plant greeted him first.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna give it some attention. Like, you're the first plant to ever acknowledge me before I acknowledged it in this manner. Do you care to share why?
And again, this one just looks like a giant Venus flytrap, where the inside, the spread of it itself is like probably like 18 inches wide, and then about 10 or so inches deep. Like it looks like it probably eats like maybe whole birds or something. Like you can't imagine what it possibly eats. But in this area, you don't see obviously any wildlife around. You're not even seeing rooms for that to be stored. But it seems to be very alive and very healthy. And as you're asking this question, the same kind of head that nodded at you before just kind of turns and regards you a little bit and just kind of tilts its head almost inquisitively, but just sort of stares at you with the one head that doesn't seem to obviously have any eyes or anything like that. But you're getting the body language of this plant through the Venus flytrap head. And as it's kind of moving, you see Kevin like leaning back, like, what the?
Do you like it here?
And it slowly nods. And as it's starting to talk, you see another one of the heads kind of like rear up from the back and also regard you as well. So now two of them are just kind of looking in your direction. Which also, Ryland, being the tall boy that he is, this is leaning over you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're looking up to talk to these two.
He went to ask him why I acknowledged him, but that's not a yes or no question.
My answers are limited. You must ask the right questions.
Am I interesting to you? I guess.
And both heads nod.
Would you like to come with me?
They just kind of stay. They don't quite react to that question.
Yeah, do you hear this?
No, I think I heard
Yes.
like the tiniest of squeaks, I think. Is your cat going ballistic?
He'll scream at me to come give him attention, and then he'll run away. Hi, baby. Hi. Hi.
Dark kitties, yay! I don't know where mine is. I'm assuming he's with his father.
Like, are you well tended to?
Both heads nod, and you watch as a third one kind of comes over and joins the conversation.
Oh no, this is so weird. Do you need any additional, just kind of like services? Food, water, light?
All three of them seem to kind of like tilt their heads at like different times. But from what you can get, it's sort of a like, no, not really. Like they seem fine.
Okay.
And especially looking at them, it is a robust plant. It is hanging over you, and the size of the mouth itself is gigantic. But even the stalk that it comes out in, it's like it's thicker than Ryland's wrist. Like it is. It's a thick, chunky boy. This plant, and it does look very healthy at the moment, and well tended to. Oh my goodness,
That's a great alliteration.
that's incredible. Plant paladin parlays with people pulping plant. Oh no. This is what happens when you leave the plant paladin alone with plants. And the rest of the team is off. And a fiend. Yeah. You're here with a fiend and a Gith Yankee who doesn't speak your language. Good.
Not even
good.
common. Oh boy.
Yep. No, he does not speak common.
He's just gonna kind of.
It's not good.
He's just. Is there anything I can do for you, at all?
They all kind of like shake a little bit. And as they're doing so, you see, or you hear in the background, Lehiri is just, are you going to talk to all of them? Or just this one? Do you always talk to plants?
No. Yes. And yes. This one regarded me first. That's new.
That one is just a big, I don't know, man-eating plant. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to befriend these, which is apparently, perhaps I'm missing out because you are doing so right now, and it's very weird to watch, but at least it's somewhat entertaining. I was going to mention your plant dog, by the way, is not here. So I'm assuming you sent her off to go do something. The two of you are attached at the hip, what I've noticed.
She went to take care of the child.
Ah, yes, the child.
On that note, are you familiar with the promised? Or being
Uh,
promised?
vaguely, yes.
What do you know
I
about it?
know. I know. VV is very interested in it.
She's gonna kind of nod and like, yeah, this is true.
I also know that it is something else that seems to have originated, or at least seems most popular in this location, which is one of the many reasons why I think I don't know what to explain it or how to explain it, I suppose, but it almost seems as though this city is built on a bedrock of unexplainable magic shit. Things always seem to either go wrong here or manifest in the strangest ways. The oasis everyone takes for granted never runs out of water. How does that happen? Nobody seems to ask any more questions about that. They just accept it as for what it is. That must be something, but I get it. There's more interesting things to be dealing here. So, whatever. Let's just forgo the infinite water oasis in the middle of a desert thing. On top of that, I found the building-sized demons off in the desert. On top of that, there seems to be some sort of reincarnation cycle in this area. And as you told me, the Feywild is now being invaded by fiends. So there's a lot of strange things that are happening. But I think a lot of them are happening here, which is part of the reason I'm here.
Are you familiar with the? What was the dragons that devoured like history and shit? Or they weren't the waste dragons, right? That was just the one that we met.
The wasteland dragons were the ones that were very frustrated with how magic changed the landscape and the city, and it hates, or like they seem to hate magic altogether, which is why it sapped all of the spell slots out of your wizard as a kind of a parlay to what was going on at the moment. But yeah, they seemed, especially that particular one that you met, seemed hell bent on erasing magic and returning the landscape to a non-magic land.
I guess he's trying to remember specifically the ones that Nerja's boy dealt with. Oh, what is his name?
Oh, if you get his name, I will be so impressed.
I did this last time, and
You did. You did.
Kelrin.
Oh my god! Good job. I'm very impressed. His name is indeed Kelleran. The Soul Seeker Dragon is what
Soul Seeker. People. That's right.
Yeah. They seem to erase the history of people. If someone dies from or because of the Soul Dragon, if the Soul Dragon kills someone, any memory of them is erased entirely. Like there's no evidence of them ever being alive. People don't remember them. Any perhaps things that they called their own seem to disappear. They just seem to be wiped off of existence entirely. And that's what happened to Kelleran's people. Is the Soul Seeker Dragon attacked, and he did his best to protect them, but he managed to forge Mithril Majesty, which makes it so his soul is housed in that, as opposed to surrendering to the Soul Seeker Dragon and being erased from history. But he also made that weapon to destroy the Soul Seeker Dragon. So he is stuck in it, but he's also trying to get rid of that thing.
He's gonna ask her, is it probably a long shot, are you familiar with Soul Seeker Dragons?
That sounds marvelous, by the way. And by marvelous, I mean fucking terrible. No, I don't think I've heard of a Soul Seeker Dragon. I will also take a moment to remind you that she kind of like points at herself. We don't really have souls.
Fair enough. Well, perhaps the answer that you so seek is locked away in a Soul Seeker Dragon. They have a tendency to absorb cultures and souls, if you will, of beings that they come across, and we only learned about it by a fluke.
Do you think the Soul Seeker Dragon has something to do with the promise thing? Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe not the promise thing, but why the Oasis is the Oasis, why everything was built here, the
Oh, I see.
histories of which happened in the past.
Why nobody seems to question or understand why things happen here. That's an interesting uh, consideration.
Theory.
Problem is I don't know what to do with that. Have you heard? Have you encountered a Soul Seeker Dragon? Do you even know
He
how
hasn't,
to
right?
find one?
Yeah.
No.
Like, I don't. No, and I don't know that I want to at the moment, but it is, as you so pointed out, one of the things on the list.
It's a very long list from what I've seen, and mine is as well. And the best part about it is, who knows where this list will end? It feels as though every time we make progress, 6 other lists pop up, and I don't mean items on the list; I mean lists.
He's gonna kind of like, break. He's just like, you two. It's not just us.
So just kind of cross her arms and roll her eyes a little bit. Yeah. Things around here are just unexplained or unexplainable at the moment. And until it seems as though we unravel all of those, we'll just have a lot of questions until then. And I'm trying my best to answer them so that I, as I mentioned before, do whatever the fuck I want, because that is my intention. And right now, I kind of can't without being a problem for other people. So, trying to do my best to get out of this situation, which is unraveling more than I cared for.
Well, I think we made a good headway in our mutual relationship, if you will.
Our symbiotic relationship, yes.
I will discuss it with my friends and try to open their minds a little bit, some more than others. I'll let the blue one know that you're quite fond of her.
Oh, she seems very easy to talk to. I know, I understand I charmed her at the time, but even still, she did seem the most level-headed of everybody there. And anyway, she just seemed nice, is all. But I suppose I wish you good luck. I will also offer, I'm sure your friends will be very uncomfortable to know, but I will also give you my word that I will not breach your location, your home, without your prior understanding.
What?
Dubs was tossing his hoodie down here because this is his work pile. So he was double there. He just tossed it over here.
I do. It wasn't, but I saw my cat playing, and I just kind of imagined Nubs just coming flying across to attack something.
Oh no! It was just a hoodie. Just a hoodie. Yeah, but it did. I was like watching her, like, "What are you doing?" Oh, okay. Off it goes. Yeah, I think he's getting ready for bed. But as I mentioned, I know where you live. I will not open any doors or anything like that unless you invite me in. Not a vampire, but I will abide by the rules so long as you don't get upset at me or whatever. But I
Like
will
he's gonna
offer.
let out like an awkward chuckle to that, like, I don't know how to take that, but thank you.
Whatever. I'm not trying to get in your way. I'm trying to take care of me. But as I'm mentioning, if you want, there are some city planters that are on the same block that you are on. Perhaps if you want to get in contact with me, you can leave a note in one of those, and then we can perhaps meet or speak, and I can contact you, I suppose, that way. Otherwise, you might be uncomfortable, or your friends might be uncomfortable if I just show up somewhere in a different form and whatever, and I just don't want to deal with that. So, are you comfortable with that at least?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
And he's just gonna kind of like do that awkward, like he doesn't know how to say goodbye in this situation.
Also,
Like,
just as one more good faith effort between us, you have revealed to me your face, and I didn't know about it, but I didn't know about the new when she kind of like motions towards the symbol that changed, but that is new, and that's I don't mean to upset you, but it is definitely worse than the Tolota situation. So try and make sure you don't get any more of those. Um, but as I was mentioning, in good faith, since you showed me your face, figured I could show you mine for just a moment. And she kind of waves her hand from like the collarbone up, and as she trails her hand along the side of her face, you watch as like it almost feels like it's like a curtain being pulled away from her, and as like the line of magic is being pulled away, you see the kind of nice, like olive toned skin, brown hair, brown eyes, enough to be attractive, but not enough to sort of stand out. Just be overtaken by this sort of darker brown color of her skin and this just flaming orange hair, these dark lips, and these bright glowing eyes. And she seems to have two sets of horns, one that kind of pulls and curls away from her face, and another that actually kind of curls around the sides of her neck forward, and her just bright orange hair spilling over the sides of her shoulders that actually seem to float in a way that kind of reminds you of Irene, but where Irene's hair is just fucking like, it's up all the time and is like Ariel underwater, like it's constantly in motion. Her hair almost seems to just kind of like curl and wave and move in the space that it already is in. Almost as though it has a mind of its own. But I will give you a visual. Hold on. And
yeah.
I'm gonna make it a little big so you can't see it. But this is the face that you are now looking at. But she
I
kind of
don't
waves her
know
face
that he
open.
would be like instinctually like, "Ooh," but also,
that's entirely up to you, obviously. But
yeah,
she just
I
kind
feel
of
like he's gonna do his best, like just be like, all right, like not like because I don't. He doesn't really judge people that way. Like at least
yeah,
in
no,
this
no,
one, that nature. So
yeah.
he's just gonna kind of like the orange.
I didn't expect you to, but thank you again. I guess. Uh, Again, tit for tat. Anyway, and she just kind of motions over her face again, and it returns to the human uh, buxom woman that you're used to. But she just kind of resumes her facade of smiling. And so this was a wonderful rendezvous that you agreed to come on. Your dumb friend seems very nice, but I believe you have friends to go meet.
Indeed, 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 indeed. um, and and a report to make, and hope the other crew is having better luck with Tree Bender, because yeah.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
All right, so we're gonna go find this place. He's kind of taking it all in, recapping, so he doesn't forget stuff, and
Mhm, mhm.
we'll have more work cut out with me. Convincing Valen's not going to be easy, but
I'm sure it will not be, but I think that we have shared enough to at least understand where we stand, particularly. I mean, I think everybody knows where you stand. Your green, do-gooding
I'm very tall.
ass.
It's hard to miss me
Yeah,
where I stand. It's one spot.
I'm aware. It doesn't help that you're a paladin and you are what and who you are. So I think people understand what you are by looking at you. Me, not so much. Attempt to let you understand where I'm.
He's just gonna kind of he's definitely walking away from this, like respecting the uh relationship, I guess. Like she's given
Mhm.
up way more than he ever anticipated she would. So
So
it's like, well,
good night, fair night, I suppose, and I suppose I'll see you later.
likewise.
And if you find anything else about that violin asshole, let me know.
Likewise.
I am doing everything I can to stay away from him, so I probably will come up with nothing. But if you find something,
I feel like as
if I
he's like
find something,
walking
I
out,
will.
he's like, wonder if a pair of cymbals would work. You know,
Just hit him over the face. Like those Looney Tune cartoons.
Yep.
But you're able to kind of she knocks on the door again once, and again you see the door with no handle just push open, and you're led back out. And it was another, like, it was wonderful to be in that location, of course, because of all the green and the flowers and the plants and all that. But it was also another moment where you're like, oh yes, humidity and this scent, and this is wonderful. And you step outside into the dry, arid nighttime desert air, and it's just like, oh. And a part of you feels like you watch all the leaves on your things just sort of like wilt a little bit. Like they're already a little wilty because you got hit with fire earlier today, but like they're still like it's a little nicer in there. But she lets you head out, and as soon as you do, she stands in the doorway for a moment and watches you, and it's just like, oh, this is so weird. Just knocks on the door again, and it closes with her inside. And so Kevin turns to you and is just leaning over. Okay?
He's just gonna kind of, yeah, okay, not bad.
Okay, and like he very much does this, where it's like, all right. Here's what we got. And he just sort of stares at you, and then is Valen. Valen?
Do you know where he is?
Huh? Roll a persuasion. I'll have a roll insight to see if you can understand like the words you are saying as you are attempting to describe them. What the fuck? Where is this character sheet? Okay, there it is. He was in a greenhouse that was abandoned by someone who was a follower of nature, run by a demon. Oh no. Not a good insight on his end. However, you rolled incredible on your persuasion. So you're explaining it like as clearly as you can. Like, do you know where he is? And he's just like, where who is? Valen? No. Where Valen is? Do you know where Valen is? Are you telling me you know where Valen is? And like there's a bit where you see him accidentally slip into Gith Yankee because he's like, I don't understand. Oh shit, you can't understand that. And he's just no. After a while, he seems to get that you were asking for, hopefully, if he can find him. And you're not sure if he fully understands the question, but his answer is no.
He's going to, with that,
Okay. Didn't know if that was going to do some weird shit. Let me send you back outside.
I guess he's going to head back to the house. Actually, he'll probably try and go collect Valafar.
Yes.
Because he did forget about Valafar.
Yeah. I don't expect that he would have forgotten about Valafar.
Yeah. Glad he forgot about Valafar.
Valafar, I would say, like, just to kind of wrap this up, because we got through the encounter, so it doesn't take you too long to find him, mostly because he was looking for you. But he does seem to be not healed fully. He did take a lot of damage, and he's a pretty healthy boy, but he looks far better than he did before. You literally carried his unconscious body out of that fight, but he seems to be way better shape at this point. But when he meets you, he seems a little more downtrodden than you were expecting, a little kind of reserved into himself. But as you guys meet up, and at this point, it's probably like 2:30 a.m., like 3 a.m. almost. Like it is, you are into the night. Like it is getting real close to sunup at this point. But as you meet with him, he'll mention, I've had some time to kind of think about what I've been doing. And I think I'm going to have to make some changes. I'll tell everybody when we're together, so I don't have to say it twice. But something has to change, I think.
Fair enough. I'm just glad you made it out.
And thanks for getting me out, by the way.
Thanks for being able to get out. He's just gonna kind of like make small talk and try and not dodge, but redirect it to like, you weren't almost dead. You were fine. Everything was fine.
Everything was fine.
Power of candle.
Yep, pretty much. But
he's like, really, you should get a tattoo. Like the tattoo of this on you. Like, you really owe it to this.
This is the only reason you're alive, is this magic candle. You see him just kind of like a little slower to react than usual. Like there seems like there's a lot on his mind, and he's a little distracted, like still relieved to be around you. And Kemen does not seem to understand anything that is happening, so he's like, "Hey, he's back! Hey, very nice to see you. What's up?" But not obviously saying those words because he cannot speak the language.
Yeah,
but he seems still relieved to kind of be near you. But after that, he'll just kind of. So where are we meeting everyone? Are we going home?
I don't. He's gonna be like, I don't remember where we said we were gonna meet. I can only assume at the house, and hope that they're okay. I haven't heard from them. Have you?
He'll just kind of quiet down, and you recognize it as his reaching out through the Valor router. But he'll reach out and yeah, I think now they're running away, actually. Do you know where they went?
I don't think he does.
No, not really. No. But he's just gonna look over Ryland and then I know they're within a mile. That's all I can say.
Nope. None of us have the eyes of longing because it's actually Belafar can beast you. Damn it.
No, Duvessa took them. She gave one to someone, and then she has the other one, so that you guys already know where she is.
Oh, that's right. To Balin, I think.
Yes.
Shit. Signy status. I think that's on Irene. No, it's on Codrono and
Codrono.
I imagine we're not within 100 feet of each other. So.
No. But I will end your session here, just because it'll give you a chance to possibly kind of like look up things or do whatever you might want. You were mentioning you might be late tomorrow, which is fine because we can handle the rest of the split up group, which is literally the whole other half of the team, which is most of the team at this point. But yeah, and then we'll catch up with Ryland, Kemen, and Valafar afterwards, in which case we will go through that as well. This was a very impromptu session, but I think it was good because
I think so too.
We were able to get this out of the way, which is good. So
yeah,
and you got to speak with the lady, and everything kind of worked out. Now this is normally when I would ask for votes for inspiration for next turn, but it was.
I'm gonna vote for Cambiche and
Brucey
and Ken.
Not literally none of them were involved. But anyway,
and
I will.
Weird plant that looked at me.
Can I give that plant inspiration? What does he have to roll ever? But anyway, we will end it here. Ryland or Flandy, thank you for being here on the last minute stuff, and everybody else who's still here. Thank you for being here with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Although we don't go this late most of the time because with the big group, people get tired. So this is a later session and also started much later anyway. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. And good night and thank you and stuff. Bye.
Deuces.